Hiya, and welcome back to Password, the game that teaches us that none of these beans can catch a fucking break. None of them can catch a single break. Durg can't catch a break. Yeen can't catch a break. Lion can't catch a break. None of them can. Thanks, Thanatos. Anyways, let's just hop right in. Now, while I remember... Only thing they're catching is therapy, yeah. Let me hijack this conversation before we spend the next hour accusing me of things. Roswell had an announcement.
I did?
I quirked a brow at Thanatos, confused as to what Roswell had to say, and looked over to him. He seemed conflicted but understood what Thanatos was talking about, nodding slowly.
Right. I guess that's... just better brought up now, huh?
He took a deep breath and started to fiddle with his fingers. All the while, Thanatos seemed to make himself comfortably, notably away from Tyson.
So, I have a confession. A secret that I've been hiding from you all. There's no good way of saying it, so I guess I just will. I'm dying.
Huh? Dying? My confusion seemed to be the same as everyone else's, but Roswell continued.
A long time ago, I was diagnosed with something untreatable. For the most part, it was benign. It didn't really hinder me at all, is what I'm saying, but I was told that it was terminal.
He was young, too. Real young.
Right. Like, 4, maybe 5?
But that's so young.
It is, but there was no sense in lying to me. It's relief knowing what's going to happen, but it sure does suck that I don't have that much time left.
Now for the big news. How long do you have left?
Truthfully, I'm on borrowed time. I could make out the month, maybe another one, or even a year before it happens.
Thanatos shook his head. Wrong. What do you mean, wrong? Remember who's seen the different outcomes of this month? Wait, it's less than a month? It's variable. I've seen it happen once, no, twice, but both on differing days.
You've seen me die of natural causes? That would mean I don't make it home?
Depending on how the next few days play out, you might get home before it happens, you might not. But that's not long. 10 days or so until the end of our vacation. 10 days until Roswell dies. Don't go being so dramatic. I said it could be sooner than that. Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up, Thanatos. You know what? I got just the thing for you, Thanatos. Just the thing. Because... No. 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 Just for you, Thanatos. Because... This is just for you, Thanatos, just for you.
No! I'm done, I'm fucking done! Fuck you! I'm done!
Thanatos, if you're trying to piss me off. And how is that better? Because nothing has been decided yet. I thought you liked the variants.
The reason I'm bringing this up now is because of where we find ourselves, getting off the mountain or potentially needing to make some hard decisions. I'm getting in early, so we're all on the same page.
What hard decisions specifically? Roswell breathed in deep before exhaling through his nose, looking to me briefly, then to Thanatos, then to Sal, rather than talking to the group as a whole.
In the absolute worst case scenario, if someone needs to die or be left behind, let it be me.
Everyone looked uncomfortable and didn't want to look at Roswell after he'd spoken. Except for me, and after catching my eye, it was clear he'd noticed no one else was looking at him anymore.
Logically, it makes the most sense. If someone needs to be left behind so the others can survive or escape or whatever, it makes sense that that person should be me. So please, hopefully nothing happens, but if it does...
He trailed off, looking at the others as if pleading for them to acknowledge what he'd asked. I promise. The words were barely out of my mouth when Orlando stood up suddenly and stormed out of the room, followed quickly by Haas. He looked distraught and Orlando was most definitely crying. Tyson shot me a look before getting up out of his chair and going after Haas. Roswell shifted in place before settling in his chair with a sigh.
There. It's done.
Good. I might need time before I'm able to promise you anything, Roswell. You're going to take a bit to think about. Sal left next and he dragged Dean out of his chair given he was still wide-eyed and dazed from the news. Roswell slumped in his chair and looked over to me, noticing that between Thanatos and I, the three of us were the only ones left.
That could have gone better.
It went as it was supposed to.
You think so?
Worked well the last time it played out this way. Not that it makes it easier.
It really doesn't.
He was wearing a smile, but from the twitching of his nose, it seemed as though he was holding back from crying. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I just didn't expect everyone to walk out, but I guess we all deal with this kind of stuff in our own way.
Anything I can do, or...?
No thanks, I just want to spend some time alone for a bit, recompose myself, and I'll be right back by lunch, I think. I'll see you later.
He was out of his chair fairly quickly and flashed me another smile before wandering away. I went to follow, but found Thanatos staring at me expectantly, shaking his head. So what?
Ready for the next job?
If I'm being honest, not really. I feel like that could have gone better.
It's gone worse in the past. That's been one of the more tamer discussions on record.
How much worse could it have gone?
Tyson injures my body to the point of not being functional. That causes some problems.
Ah. I'm sorry. Wait. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Don't be. I just directed the conversation in a way I wanted, so it didn't happen. Cutting it real close, though.
He wandered over to me, kicking my hand as I slumped over my spot at the table.
Come on. We need to go talk to Benson.
Oh, right. Guess there's no break, huh?
What do you need a break for? Get going!
Bitch! This was the first place I'd seen Benson enter, and sure enough, there he was. He seemed shell-shocked, eyes sunken and slightly bloodshot. Hey, Benson. It took a few moments before he looked over at me, but said nothing as he returned his attention to the drink in front of him. Thanatos was perched on my shoulder, a handful of my fur in his fist to keep him steady. He too said nothing even as I approached him slowly. Dave. Sitting down on another stool next to him, I stayed quiet as Thanatos disembarked onto the counter and started looking around. For what, I didn't know given my attention was on the state Benson was in. Are you okay? I don't know, my boy. My body feels weak, my mind is a haze of nightmares, I feel so addled. Lack of sleep? Indeed. I glanced to look over at Thanatos, who seemed to pay our exchange no mind. I know why you're here, David. I know. You do? What is going on with my microphone? Let me just bring that up and turn down the sensitivity one. There we go. You do? It does not take a master sleuth to piece together that you might want from me. What you might want from me after a tense conversation with your friends. I'm sorry. Don't be. Let's just get this over with and hopefully you can make some use of it. I put a hand on his arm and he flinched. It was delayed, but it was a flinch all the same. But then after, maybe you should take a nap. You look, you can say exhausted. I'm just worried. I'll be fine, Dave. The three of us headed back into the dining room and I dropped Thanatos back onto the table as I looked around, wondering how best to start.
So, Junior here wants to know what he can figure out from your death.
Essentially, but if you're not up for it, we can, It's fine. What do we know? It's been a while, but, I found my eyes trailing to the floor, right where I remembered Benson laying dead. It happened here, right where you're standing, although, well, obviously you were on the ground. Dead. May I have the cause of death? Gunshot wound. Where? In the dining room?
In the head, Benny boy!
Oh, right, yeah. On your, right temple? Benson looked around the room, slowly scanning the room with a frown. Would it help if I gave more details? Please. So, there's a gun in your left hand. You were kind of just sprawled out on the ground on your side. There's not really more I can go over, because I really only have the fragments to go with. Describe the gun to me. Big, silver, like a cowboy gun. I like that phrasing. I love that phrasing. Yeah. Oh, hiya. A revolver. Interesting. No, no, Benson, no. It is not a revolver. It is a cowboy gun. Gotta say it right. Say it right. Why is that interesting? Well, that would be Oswin's gun. I was slated to clean it that night as I'd been putting it off, but with everyone searching the place for a gun, I figured I wouldn't casually do it at the dining room table once everyone had turned in. Why would you need to clean it? Proper gun maintenance is important, lest you run the risk of injury when you actually need it. Huh. I guess it's understandable. It'd be why you wash your brushes after you finish painting. Painting? Really? Nuh-uh. I'm with Lug here. Nuh-uh, it's a cowboy gun. Why'd you put a Nerf gun in there? See, no. I'm going to solve this. I'm going to solve this once and for all. Because it is a cowboy gun, not a revolver. Okay. Turning on the display capture. Okay. Revolver. See? Now. Cowboy gun. Fuck. Fuck. But a cowboy gun is so much more fun to say. I know they're the same. Known they were the same. Like, I was just doing a bit. Painting? Really? Well, I don't kill people or use guns. I don't know these things. It does raise an interesting possibility, however. In what way? Quite simply, why was I holding Oswin's gun? And in my left hand, no less. You were cleaning it, right? I was, but why would I not just use my own? Presumably because you didn't have it? A fair assumption, but there are other problems. Notably, if I were to be shot in the head with Oswin's revolver, chances are there'd be a significant part of my head, well, missing. A detail you omitted from your recount. Oh, well, yeah, your head was there. Thanatos, how much of this event do you know? Why do you want to know? Fine. Remain unhelpful. Thanatos, you wanted me to look into this. Fine. It's as Benson is getting at. He wasn't shot with the gun you found him with. Which leaves us one other gun that I keep loaded. Mine. There aren't any other guns in the house? There are, but kept under lock and key, unloaded, and in my private quarters behind another locked door. That's a lot of locks. That's called proper weapon storage. Where are the keys? You have them, right? They are safe, yes. Okay, good. So my immediate thought was that either someone brought their own weapon or used mine. But why would you hand over your own gun? Good question. We can rule out any outside interference. How can you be sure? No one entered the house that night. Only people in the house are those that you're aware of already. A chill ran down my spine and I looked to Benson. We can't verify that unless we put blind faith into him. All I can tell you is that over my lifetime, those that you might think would show up don't until well after we're past that point. But that would mean that the person that did it was either, well, pay him no mind, Dave. He seemed thoughtful as he pieced together what he wanted to say next. A frown forming. Oswin's revolver in my left hand is problematic, as I'm right-handed. You wouldn't have just swapped hands? And why would I do that? For fun? I treat my gunplay quite seriously. I might be past my prime, but I still have my muscle memory sound should the situation arise. Granted, my headspace needs to be right for it. So, why was it in your left hand? Planted, most likely, by the assailant. I don't think I follow. You're saying someone showed up, took your gun while you were cleaning Oswin's, shot you, then placed Oswin's gun in your hand for what reason? Potentially to make it look like a suicide. Although clumsy at best, it seems. Thanatos, anything to add?
What are you asking me for?
You probably know the scene better than I remember, plus you likely know who did it too.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Then who? I looked across to Benson, but he seemed to be staring off into space. Stiff as a board, something had dawned on him, and the corners of his mouth were pulled back, tense. Benson, it's nothing.
That's a lie.
Quiet, you. What's... Huh. We were making good progress, I thought. The next words out of Benson's mouth were almost a croak, but he recovered soon after. Unfortunately not fast enough for me to not notice. Very good progress. What did I miss?
Benson's figured it out.
Wait, really? That's great! No, it's really not. Because... Forgive me, but I cannot disclose who committed the deed. From what we know, I can only think of one person, but interrogating them would get us nowhere. Why?
'Cause it never happened. What are they going to confess to?
Ah, but that... This will be something I need to discuss with them at a later date. I looked between Thanatos and Benson quickly, the three of us quiet. Can I be honest? Of course. I'm really tired of this whole everyone having big realizations without telling me anything. You do it. Oswin does it. Thanatos has done it too.
Have not.
You have. You might not register it as it. But it's really annoying that people seem to be on the same secret when I'm legitimately trying to figure things out and help, but people just don't want to share. Then what would you have me do? Tell me who it is! Then at least there'll be a lead or something to figure out what's going on. If we can't trust Thanatos, but we can sometimes. Then what? We can put faith in what you say. Where does that leave us? Forgive me.
I'm not apologizing for anything.
Even so, I cannot tell you who I believe it to be. And why's that? Oswin told me not to. What? Do you remember the will that I showed you? The one where you burned the second page? That's the one. Against my better judgment, I was told to protect someone specific. Someone he suspected of being the one behind his death. Why would he do that? That makes no sense. Benson regarded me briefly before shaking his head. I am afraid that answer died with him, Dave. I groaned, rubbing my face. Okay, fine. I get it. Leaning on the table, I looked down at the floor where Benson was dead in my vision. So, Oswin figured it out? I would assume so, yes. But certainty in these times isn't assured. Okay.
Oi!
What?
Hey, don't even get an attitude with me. I have good news.
What's the good news?
You got a few days of breathing room at least.
Before another vault vision? Thanatos looked towards Benson, then back to me.
Potentially, but worry about it later. You'll need a break.
Not just tell me now? I may as well.
No, take a break. I know Benson needs one.
I looked towards Benson, and it was true. He was out of it again, trembling on the spot. Okay, fine.
I knew you'd see it my way. We can talk more later if I feel like it.
He waved and forcibly ending the conversation by dashing towards the foyer. Before long, he was out of sight, leaving Benson and I alone. I'm sorry, Dave. Huh? I'm not as spry as I once was. Were things different? Well... I nodded slowly. Has keeping watch been tolling on you? Truthfully, yes. I wish to return to a regular sleeping schedule soon, but that would mean, assuming we wish for surveillance around the clock, others will need to stay up, among other things. Once more I nodded and kicked the floor lightly. I'll try and bring it up with the others, see what we can do about it starting tonight. Thank you. What are you intending on doing now? After the chat at breakfast, I might go see how everyone else is holding up. Very well. I wish you the best of luck. Leaving the dining room, I rubbed my head, wondering where the others had ended up after everything that went down. If I was honest with myself, I felt a bit lost and wouldn't mind talking things out with someone else. Looking around, I wondered where Thanatos had run off to, and assumed it would have been downstairs. The others, however, could be anywhere. I wandered around the house for a bit, sticking to the floor I was on before deciding to head upstairs and see if anything interesting was happening up there. I approached the rec room and stuck my head in, seeing Ty and Haas sitting on beanbags quietly chatting. Haas had his face in his hands and Tyson seemed unsure of what to really be doing. Guys okay? Ty looked up and gestured me to come over before turning back to Haas. We're good, yeah. You sure? Just working through that news, yeah? Well, Haas is anyway. Oh, about, yeah, about that. Nodding slowly, I took a spot on the floor and rested my hands in my pockets, not really sure what to say or do. How are you holding up about it? Me? Fine, I guess. Well, guess it's less fine and more just in shock or not really knowing if it's still real. That's where I'm at. I get that it's a thing, but his delivery needs some work. How else was he meant to tell us that? I don't know, but what are we meant to do with that information? But then he turned to me with a frown, looking me over. And you actually promised what he asked? I had to! Don't think you needed to do shit, but if that's all he's asking, then hell, I'd make that promise too. Dude, you understand what he's asking of us, right? It doesn't matter if it makes the most sense, it's messed up. Imagine if it was Dave asking that of you. Ty's ears immediately drooped and he slumped, keeping to himself. So, like, he's right. Worst case scenario, it saves us the decision-making process. But I sure as hell don't feel good about it. What will the alternative be? Don't think there is one, is there? Shit, it's the fan, then we just deal with it. Or I guess we know what we're doing already. Yeah, I guess so. I shuffled closer to Ty and leaned against him, and he leaned against me back. Do you think he's suffering? Hard to say. Imagine it wasn't easy to come out and tell us that he's dying, given he's kept it from us this long. Hiya. Feels a little strange to bring up now, doesn't it? If not now, when? I imagine if his condition worsens suddenly, that might cause us more alarm than if we knew what to expect, right? Or if he just didn't wake up one morning. Dude, too real. It's true, though. One day he might just go to bed and that's it. That sounds really sad. And we just wouldn't know that when we're saying goodbye it'll be the last, right? I guess that's just how it goes, right? Anything you say to someone could be the last thing you say to them ever. Ty pulled back, looking me over with a stern look, focusing on me and looking me over so I couldn't keep eye contact. What's wrong? Just looking. Dude, just say it. Shut up. Say what? Just in case, yeah. I love you, you know that, right? You big softy, are you going to tell me that you love me too? That you love me next to? No. Ouch. What if I say please? Still no. Thanks, Ty, I love you too. See, there you go. Happy family. Ty rolled his eyes and patted me on the head in the same motion, sitting back in his beanbag. So you're feeling better at least now, Hoss? Yeah, it's going to take some getting used to. It's soured the trip a little more knowing what's around the corner for a friend is all. Yeah. So what? Meant to worry about it until it happens or what? Maybe not worry about it, but like, I guess just keep it in mind and then when it happens we be sad? That's overly simplistic. Like, there's an alternative. It's untreatable, right? So that's that. That's it. We can't do anything about it. Awfully defeatist of you, Dave, but you've got a point. All we can do is just make sure he's comfortable. At the same time, I have to deal with the guys in the woods. Are they even still out there? Not worth the risk, is it? Guess not. If the road is fucked, then they aren't getting off the mountain either. Wait, no, I read that. Wrong voice. Guess not. The road is fucked, then they aren't getting off the mountain either. Unless there's another way out. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah. Nodding slowly, I leaned back and Tyson got up to head over to the TV. What are you doing? Want to watch anime? Yeah, sure. You staying for some anime, Dave? I think I'll see where the others went. Orlando seemed pretty shaken up about it all, and if he's not here, then, well. Don't know where he went. Just ran off before I did, but he headed upstairs when he left, if that helps. So he's in the mansion, at least. Thanks, I'll, see you guys later. If you need us, we'll be here. With a nod, I set off, leaving them to their anime. Seemed at least for the time being they were holding things together. That just made me wonder how Orlando was doing without someone to talk him through things. When I found him, he was sitting by the window, or half lounging by the window, looking out into the world beyond. Hey, Orlando, you doing okay? His eyes were still wet, but he wasn't actively sobbing anymore. He turned to look at me before looking out the window again, gesturing for me to come closer and give him a hug. Not really. I didn't think things could get any worse, but then Roswell gave us the news, huh? Yeah. He wrapped his arms around me and I joined him in looking out the window. It's so sad. He's been hiding it for so long and just... I don't want to believe it's real. But it is though, right? Couldn't go joking about something like this. Not now, especially. Is it bad that I think I would have rather not known at all? What if something happened? Yeah, that's true. But you're wondering what happens now? A little? It's not like we're doctors either. Yeah. I guess I'll just have to take my blessings where I can find them, huh? We still need to tell everyone about us, too. I assume. I most probably already know, but it'd be nice to officially announce it, right? Normally I agree with you, but it seems like now might not be the best time, right? Not after this morning. Why not? I don't know, I almost feel like they're sweeping it under the rug. But maybe that's kind of what people could benefit from something nice while they process it. I don't think us being boyfriends counts as a nice thing so much as just good news because not everyone may be happy about it.
Yeah.
We can't not tell them. Seems almost rude to just assume everyone's going to get it. Well, maybe we can bring it up during dinner. That's going to be the next time we're all gathered, right? Yeah, dinner's going to be just be interesting all around. I wonder if Thanatos is going to be joining us too. Speaking of, you knew, and yet you still let me trap him like that? Well, I wasn't meant to tell anyone, or that was the impression I got anyway. I just got caught up on everything that that happened. No more secrets from the group, Dave. Yeah, I know. The next bit is going to be hard enough. I hope it's not too hard, though. Hey, listen, I'm sorry for being a bit all over the place right now, but I appreciate you checking in on me. I gave him another hug, but he shook his head and went back to looking out the window. I might need some time to process it, see if I can think of something, but maybe I want to try this solo for a bit. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. Sorry. No, it's fine. I mean, I checked on Haas and Tyson already, now you, so maybe I should go find Sal or Dean, or just, I don't know, check in. He nodded slowly and I backed away, lingering by the doorway to just watch him look out the window before moving on. I checked the other rooms quickly before heading back downstairs to look for anyone else. The house was quiet, but with everyone split up it made sense. Not that I liked it, but I used it as an incentive to find someone else quicker. Sal and Dean were sitting on the steps out front, not really saying anything and just watching the world go by. Hey guys. They turned around before gesturing me closer, and I sat next to Sal where there was space. How are you holding up? Me, I'm doing alright, just finished talking to Orlando, Haas, and Ty about it all. Yes. What about you two? It's a lot. We're mostly just letting it sink in. That's pretty much it, yeah. But you're both doing okay? Dean looked at Sal, who rolled his shoulders thinking of his answer. He looked between the two of us and then out at the lawn stretching out in front of us. I could see his snout twitch as he thought the words over, starting slow. I appreciate how direct he was about it. I appreciate the difficulty that would have come from having to tell us that, too. Did he have to tell us, though? I believe that is the correct phrasing, all things considered anyway. Of those at the table, though, you're the only one who readily promised what he was asking, Dave. He's my friend and asked me to promise. What else am I meant to do? It's not as if, like, I feel talking to the others has helped you process things, hasn't it? A little. It's not an easy thing to promise, though. Why's that? It's someone's laugh just standing, right? I got the impression that something like this was on its way, but didn't know for sure. How? Did he say something? Kind of. He asked me a few times about our relationship, figured that he was just doing what the others were doing as far as pushing us together. With him, seemed a bit more serious, almost like he was worried about something. Lines up that this would be what he was worried about. Right. I nodded slowly, thinking it over before standing up. Well, that's reassuring that you're both doing okay compared to the others, at least. Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot to take in, but I think we're doing okay. Right, we'll just have to take it as it comes. Has anyone spoken to Roswell yet? Don't know, he left a little bit after you two, and that left me with Thanatos and Benson. So he's unaccounted for then? Shall we go look for him? I'll go check in. I'm making the rounds, so I may as well continue, right? If you're sure. You're welcome to come too if you want. I think we're heading for a big group discussion the next time we're together. At least to maybe reset everything. So are you saying you can wait until then? As long as everyone makes sure Roswell is okay, I don't think it matters if it's one person or multiple. But I'm weighing up the possibility that everyone swamping him may do more harm than good. I would have thought everyone coming at once might have been better, like a big group hug sort of some moment. As you lack being the center of attention? For someone that likes doing magic tricks, I'd say so, yeah. And I'm with Dave. We should go find him. Alright, but if he shows sign of being uncomfortable, we should take that as our cue to leave. The three of us headed back inside, running into Orlando wandering down the stairs. Hey Orlando, have you seen Roswell? No. We're going to go find him. Want to come along? Thor, what about Hoth and Tython? What about us? He started wandering down the stairs too, coming to a stop, so we were standing in a loose circle in front of the stairs. Have either of you two seen Roswell? We were trying to watch anime but couldn't get into it. Figured we'd come downstairs to get some air, but no Roswell. We were going to go find him. Want to come? Sure. Probably better we go find him rather than just sticking around here. Question is, where is he?
And what a good question that is!
All of us turned to look to the hallway leading towards the basement, and sure enough, standing on the floor was a familiar face from breakfast.
You're looking for the little boar? Well, I just so happen to know where he is.
Where?
He's safe.
But where in the mansion?
Who said anything about the mansion? I just said he's safe.
So he's outside? Why would he go outside? The pool, maybe? The greenhouse? Or the hedge maze?
Question is, why do you all want to know?
We just want to make sure he's okay.
I'm sure you do, Junior, but what about the others?
What do you mean?
You all seemed pretty eager to leave. What changed?
People change, Thanatos, unless... Does this always happen this way?
Patterns emerge, but no, it doesn't always happen this way.
I don't mean to be rude, but can you help us?
As polite as ever. That's something that doesn't change. But yes, I can help.
He wandered over to Dean and kicked him lightly in the shin. Almost knowing what was going to happen, Dean reached out and picked him up.
Come on, I'll lead the way.
Once he was off the floor, he scrambled up Dean's arm and took the spot on his shoulder. From on top of Dean,
but of course.
Pulling Dean along by the ear, he directed us towards the back door and from there, outside. Over to the entrance into the maze, a few of us looked at each other before looking to Thanatos.
He's in here. Watched him go in myself.
To the middle? Without waiting for my reply, he tugged on Dean's ears and started to push him forward with the rest of us in tow. Soon enough, we stepped into the center of the maze, spotting Roswell sitting nearby, looking up to see us confused.
What's going on? Did something happen?
We wanted to see if you were okay. Breakfast wasn't our best showing, but yeah, what Orlando said.
I'm fine?
Orlando stepped forward and took Roswell's hands in his, the corners of his mouth quivering. I'm so sorry I ran out of breakfast. It's really happening, isn't it? Roswell nodded slowly and Orlando wailed quietly in response. And you're out here by yourself?
I just wanted some time to myself is all. To just think, I guess. That's all.
Aside from thinking, how are you feeling?
Fine. I mean, my body hurts sometimes, but it comes and goes in waves. Right now it's fine, though. Not that there's anything that can be done to really help, outside of maybe taking paracetamol. There's not really, well, medicine for what I have, remember?
Ty was lingering at the edge of the group, just watching. He'd made his views on the whole thing clear enough already, but shot me a thumbs up when I started to approach. I'm sorry, too. I should not have left when I did.
It's alright. Everyone's reactions were understandable, if a bit shocking.
Why ask us to promise that, though?
Peace of mind? Who knows when the vacation is going to take another vicious turn, and I figure that if something was to go wrong, I'd rather, maximize the life of the group as a whole. I imagine that if someone were to save themselves for me, I'd be pretty guilty considering.
Well, shucks, that's pretty grim. But that's the worst case scenario. If we're careful, it might not even be something that we need to worry about.
Exactly. As I said, it was more of a peace of mind thing. But also very important, all things considered. I don't know when it's going to happen, but if it happens while everyone is still together on the mountain...
We should be prepared for that. This whole thing is very ugly, but I understand. Roswell, against my better judgment, I'll make the promise you requested to us, but only if there's no other way.
That's all I ask.
If we stick to that, then, yeah, I'll make the promise too. I looked across to Haas and Orlando again, noticing that in the time Roswell had been talking to Dean and Sal, they'd been whispering hurriedly between one another. I don't think I'll be ready to promise that for a bit, but we're friends. Friends support each other. And with that in mind, we're going back inside. No more hanging out by yourself.
Awfully bold of you two, so I might want to go inside.
What if it was to induct Tython? Huh? What?
Oh!
Right? Poor guy has no idea what's coming, but I reckon it's gonna be a great time to do it, right?
Who's going to be running the initiation?
Oh, not me, please. Hang on, I'll be right back. I'm going to give Thanatos a nickname, Ratatoot Toot. Anyways, Tyson stomped over and grabbed Haas, dragging him away to try and figure out what he was talking about, but only getting a smug grin in kind. What made you come out here anyway?
Oh, I just figured I'd find somewhere that was quiet for me to think. With everyone else seemingly troubled, I didn't want to accidentally run into anyone, so I picked somewhere it was unlikely someone would want to go.
Because they'd get lost?
Something like that. I'm honestly surprised that you were able to make it here with no issue.
Thanatos led the way.
That'd do it.
Alright, I asked, well, what's going to happen now? Did you want to stay here a bit, or did you want to come inside? We could probably lead you out if you need it.
I'll be fine getting out on my own. Though it seems like the plan is to head inside and torment Tyson.
Hey! I heard that! Well, shall we? Oh, I can take Thanatos if you don't want to carry him anymore. Oh, sure, if he wants to go at least. Without waiting, he leapt from Dean to me, his weight knocking me off balance and tumbling backwards into a hedge.
Oi!
Sorry!
You okay?
Flashing Orlando a thumbs up, I dusted myself off and could feel Thanatos grip my fur that little bit tighter. Ready when you guys are. Together we headed back to the mansion, although Tyson and Haas brought up the rear, still on the topic of figuring out what this initiation was. I don't know what it is, but... It wasn't anything serious, just some high school thing involving anime, but including Tyson made me happier somehow. I think for the most part it was his panicked reaction trying to piece together what Haas was getting him into. We all came back in through the back door with Haas leading the way forward upstairs and taking some of the others with him. Orlando took Roswell into the kitchen, and I overheard them saying they'd get some snacks and meet everyone upstairs. When we got there, Sal took the initiative to start grabbing beanbags and positioning them near the screen. Having clued into what was going to happen, Dean followed suit, and they dropped into seats next to each other to chat. Hey Dave, tell Haas to stop being a brat. Why? He's not telling me what this is all about. Big dog, like your brother is going to help you here. He better. Reaching out, he roughly grabbed me in a headlock, causing Thanatos to leap from my shoulder onto a nearby table. Hey, quit it! Sorry that you're taking one for the team, Dave. Orlando and Roswell showed up at this point with their arms full of snacks, and Tyson took that as good a time as any to join them. Haas flashed me a wink and followed after. Leaving me to look down at Thanatos, I gestured towards the group for if he wanted to join, but he was already on his way, scurrying off and out of sight. I followed after, dropping into a beanbag and watching as Haas pulled Tyson in front of the screen to stand next to him. Now that we're ready, it's time to get this underway. What the fuck are we doing? You, my dear friend, are going to be inducted into one of the most illustrious, exclusive groups known this side of the world. Oh, that all? That all, yes. Gentlemen, this guy doesn't know how lucky he is. You're messing with me, right? He's messing with me? I think I know what this is about. You'll be fine. Okay, well, what do I have to do? Dance? What? Oh, are you starting a band? No, nothing like that. Well, actually, that might not be a bad idea. Hurry up, Hoff! Okay, fine. Everyone here knows Tyson. Everyone here has had some history with Tyson, even if it's just on this trip, good or bad. No shit. In light of what I knew of Tyson, and admittedly it was very little before this, I reached out and turns out he's a pretty swell guy. A guy that I'm proud to say is probably my best friend. Alf. You can't be offended. You have Dave.
What about me?
You also have Dave. Do I have Dave too? No, you have Dean, right? What if I want to be friends with Tyson too? I looked around the group and it seemed everyone had synced up on tormenting Haas. How everyone wearing a sly smile of their own. The point is, I get the impression that Big Dog here hasn't been included in a bunch of stuff, so I'm forcing him to be a member of the anime club. What? You know, the thing from high school I told you about? But I dropped out? Doesn't mean you can't still join. You literally graduated, dude. All four of you did. You want it or not? No. Dave, you ask him. He won't say no to you. It'll be fun? Pass. Did they tell him about the third? Ah, yes, it's a joining bonus. You get a shirt made by yours truly. I have shirts already. I could make yours orange if you want. I watched as Ty's gaze narrowed just a little, ears twitching as he thought it over. Just think, Ty. Orange. Yeah, I heard him. Not that I have one here that I can throw together, but I can owe you an orange one for when we get back home. Let's say I want the shirt. And I'm not saying that I do, just if I did. What do I have to do? Dance. I don't dance. Oh, then this is going to be even better. Gonna be any dance. If dance is all it takes, then maybe I should dance. I had to learn a small formal thing for high school. I could probably fake line dancing if I had to. Sorry, Dean, you don't like anime, remember? There will always be league bowling shirts instead, Dean, don't worry. League what now? Tyson, focus. The dancing. Ty rolled his shoulders and sighed, looking at everyone but Haas before settling on me. Did you have to do it? Oh yeah, it was awful. He means awful fun, don't you, Dave? Sure? So you're asking me to make a fool of myself for a shirt. An orange shirt. Fuck! The fact that Haas is selling Tyson an orange shirt, and it's specifically orange. Tyson's all like, you're asking me to make a fool of myself for a shirt. An orange shirt. Mind if I pick? You have something in mind? No chance I can just do an easy one, huh? Oh no, we're making it as bad as we can. The floor is yours then. Hey Dave, pass the chips. What preceded was Tyson groaning as Orlando picked something of a classic. Right down to the sailor uniforms and the upbeat music. His jaw went slack and eyes went wide as he watched the dance he was expected to perform, occasionally shooting sideward glances to Haas, who was bopping along with the music and doing some of the moves. Sal and Dean were chuckling to themselves. Orlando and Ross were seeing if they remembered the dance too, and I sat back trying to make sure to remember this, if only to bring it up to Tyson later as any little brother would. When the first viewing was over, Haas nudged Ty and said that he wanted to see one genuine attempt before they stopped. Otherwise, they were just going to keep going until they got it. You got this! It was cringy, poorly choreographed, and ended up with Roswell and Orlando bumping into each other more than once, threatening to trip Tyson up without even trying. But it was fun, even if they had to go a few times before Tyson seemed to know what was going on. Even Sal got up and gave it a shot. Okay, that good enough? Iron the shirt yet? He was out of breath, with Orlando and Roswell already having tagged out and were recovering on their beanbags just as much so. What's up? The shirt. Am I in or what? Oh, right, yeah, you can join. You're in about 5 attempts back, but figured I'd see how long it took you to throw in the towel. Tyson's eyes bulge, and he seemed to be torn between catching his breath and making a grab at Haas before just giving up. I'm going to sit down now. He collapsed unceremoniously into a beanbag and groaned while Haas seemed almost unfazed. Now that pre-entertainment has been given, how about we have another small movie viewing? Now, hold on. That's not what we were leading into anyway. Yes, Dean, although I believe for the most part we needed something to bring us all together after this morning. Sal, buddy, pal. Oh, sorry. May I ask what we're watching? It's going to be anime. Oh, that's... May I make a request? What did you have in mind? I would like to watch one about the fantasy world in the closet, please. Oh, it's been a while since I saw that one. I'd be interested. But, anime. As entertaining as it was to see Tyson dance, I've had my fill of anime for one day. Can we watch My Neighbor Totoro, or Spirited Away, or Dragon Ball Super Broly? Tyson grumbled but flipped Dean off half-heartedly while still face down in his beanbag. How about we sort that one, and then consider anime afterwards? What about the one with the mouse that's like Tyson? You would think the mouse is like Tyson? I would have thought the guy that becomes a dragon is more like Tyson. Sal elbowed Dean in the side, cocking his head slightly. Those are spoilers, Dean. Oh, right, sorry. Alright, fine, we'll start there and consider what to watch next after it's done. Sound good with everyone? There was mixed grumbles all around, mostly enthusiastic, although tainted by exhaustion from those that had been dancing. But we relaxed with the movie, sharing the snacks around until they were all gone, and went straight into another while avoiding anime. Huss sulked for all of a minute before he and Tyson started to have a quiet chat while the movie went on. Yes, The Promised Neverland. Oh wait, that's not a movie. Still good though. I binged that show in my senior English class. Not that they were loud, but it was nice just watching their expressions. Haas and Tyson with relaxed smiles, Dean and Sal enamored with the movie and keeping quiet, Orlando and Roswell passing the same empty bag of candy back and forth, forgetting that it was empty until they reached into the bag. These were my friends, and they were happy. Hey, sleepyhead, wake up. Huh? We're heading down for dinner. You must have fallen asleep at some point. I guess I was just that relaxed, huh? You looked like you were sleeping peacefully, almost considered not waking you, but we couldn't just leave you here by yourself. No, of course. So everyone is downstairs now? Yep, just went down, so no one's been waiting on you. Orlando helped me to my feet and kissed me sweetly, sneaking in a hug right after. Come on, let's get some food and you. We went downstairs with Orlando heading into the kitchen. It was almost as if it were a routine at this point. The fact we'd said that we'd take turns basically forgotten. I took a seat where I could save the one next to me for Orlando, looking out to the table to my friends while I waited for him to return. With the help of a couple others, Orlando brought the food out to the table in no time, and we were soon enough eating and engaging in jovial conversation. Soon our bellies were full, and for a moment I'd forgotten all the stress of the past few days. Even from that very morning, leaning back into my chair, I breathed and just let it wash over me. Can I get you dessert, sweetheart? Sweetheart? Did I hear that right?
Oh, I think you did.
I started to chuckle bashfully as Orlando tussled the top of my head. Don't mind me, just doting on my boyfriend. Oh, thank God you finally got it over with. What's that supposed to mean?
You've been making these longing eyes at Dave whenever he's not looking for at least as long as I've been around.
I have not.
Have I?
Dude, we've been unintentionally competing for the most dramatic in our circle for a while, and you can't tell me you never noticed. I wouldn't say he's that dramatic, just, a disaster. Please don't go using my words against me. Here, I thought I was the disaster.
Both be disasters. I see no issue in you sharing the title.
Gee, thanks. Before we get too far on this, first of all, congrats. Second of all, how did all this come about anyway? Instinctively, I looked over to Dean, who seemed to be quietly sitting there waiting for all this to just happen. Well, last night it sort of just, Dave and I today didn't really click, then feelings sort of got messy and worked out for the best. That's probably the faster way to explain it. Pretty certain Orlando told everyone to stay out of the kitchen for dinner. This was the reason. So, how'd you fuck up dinner? I didn't. The chemistry wasn't there. Orlando was like Dave for a while now, so all of this worked out as well as it could have. News to me. Orlando started to chuckle nervously, enough so that I found myself doing the same. So, everyone clear now? They hooked up. Any questions? Sal slowly raised his hand and then just as slowly lowered it upon seeing the daggers that Orlando was staring at him. I actually have one. Can I have some dessert, please? Orlando's expression turned on a dime and he scurried off into the kitchen to go find something sweet to end the meal on. Then, with dessert done and dishes done, Orlando and I headed upstairs after everyone else had already turned in for the night. Stepping into Orlando's room, the moment the door had closed, he pulled off his shirt and stretched, still as cheery as he was the night before. What do you think? Up for some fun before bed? Fun? Oh, you mean... You know it. Oh, yeah, okay. Great. I'm just going to take a minute. In a flash, Orlando shifted over to one of his bags and began to rummage while I started to undress. Alright, time to have some fun. I was about to remove my underwear and looked between him and the two gaming consoles in his hand. When you said fun, I thought, I mean, I'm not going to say no, but... He wiggled the handheld consoles in the air before staring, the red tint in his face coming back. I should go have a shower, huh? Sorry, I didn't mean to, I mean, at least you'd seen me naked before, so it's not as awkward as it could have been. Well, why don't you go get clean and then we can have some fun after? What kind? How about I let you pick? Admittedly, my shower was a quick one, and by the time I left the bathroom, I was greeted to a dark room where the only light was coming from the gaming console Orlando had and the subtle glow he had from his heat. I didn't bother getting dressed the moment I'd seen he'd taken everything off. When I got to bed, the console was promptly put to the side, and we had a repeat of the night before. This time, we at least had a towel on hand, and we fell asleep exhausted but happy on top of one another. His hand held in mine. Okay, wow. Day 21! Ah! There had only been a few times where it felt like I'd been falling in my dreams. I was conscious of it happening, but instead of waking up, I just seemed to slow down until I was on my feet. This time, anyway. It was similar to sinking, maybe, but I still found myself in an endless darkness rather than any other place I could recognize. A dull throb in the back of my head made me wonder what was happening, but I didn't have to wait long. Dave? There was that all-too-familiar voice, and I knew I must have been dreaming. Still, the thought for once brought a smile to my face, knowing that the danger had just passed and I had another chance to breathe. 5 more minutes, Dream Dad. There was that chuckle, and I could picture him shaking his head. Dream Dad, huh? I'm flattered, but you can't spend all day in bed. But sleep. I felt the covers being thrown back, and instinctively I curled up tighter with the sudden onset of feeling less toasty. Opening my eyes slowly, I looked around my room. Sure enough, there Dad was. Come on, time to get up. As I went to sit up, I was hit with the headache and nausea. What's wrong, sport? Feeling under the weather? No, maybe I did go a little crazy last night. There was a moment where I wasn't sure what I just said. Maybe I just said something back to try and get a rise out of Dad, even if he was just a dream. I let you sleep in a little longer than Tyson because you're my favorite son, but you need some grub in you. Dad, I'm your only son. I could tell something was wrong as I'd started speaking before I'd consciously thought back my response. Tried to follow it up with something, but instead felt myself stretch out my fingers and sit up to watch Dad linger by the bedroom door. You think things are going to be alright? Hard to say, champ. Just don't go thinking too hard about it, alright? Apparently it was time to get up and get dressed. I felt like a passenger in my own body as I moved about the room trying to figure out why this lucid dream seemed to be playing out on its own. Even trying to speak to myself or think out loud wasn't working. But I could see just fine. Though what I was looking for was looking at was restricted to this dream Dave I found myself in. I could smell breakfast when I hit the bottom of the stairs. My eyes lingered briefly on the sofa where a couple of pillows and a blanket still were messily laid out on it. Tyson, did you sleep on the sofa? Yeah, why? Why? Why what? Why'd you sleep on the sofa? I'd wandered into the kitchen to see Ty sitting at the table in the middle of eating breakfast. Dad was sitting down himself and wandered over to the coffee pot. Where else would I sleep? My bed? When you don't go passing out from drinking too much, maybe that'll be an option. I groaned, rubbing my head. Was this what a hangover was like? I wondered why my mouth was dry, but still, Dad and Ty seemed to be laughing things off. Although I could see the telltale cracks in their expressions that hinted they were worried. Was it that bad? You don't remember how we had to rush you to the hospital? Didn't want to risk anything, so we took you to get your stomach pumped, Dave. It was really that bad? Did Mom say anything? They looked at one another before looking back to me. Your mom said that he was overreacting, but I passed out. Well, we weren't sure if you'd taken some aspirin or something, and you know the whole mixing alcohol with medicine thing. That you shouldn't do it. Obviously, Tyson. But I'm fine. I'll be honest, I don't really remember much of last night, but I do feel kind of gross. Get some food into you, get some water. Get some water. If you're still feeling under the weather, later we can look into something else to pick you up. You at least remember why you were drinking, right? No. Tyson motioned to me and I looked back at him funny. He rolled his eyes and pointed to my hand, to which a ring sat comfortably on a finger on my right hand. Oh, right, of course. Remember now, sport? Yeah. I'm getting married. What? Eventually. It was just a fucking engagement party. Language at the table, Tyson. Oh shit, sorry. Dad shook his head, flashing me a smile. If anything, we should be sorry to Dave for letting him get carried away. Last thing we want is a vengeful fiancé knocking on our door. Speaking of, I'll probably be seeing him later, so, what do I tell him? The truth? Ugh, he's gonna be distracted all afternoon if I do, though. Unless Dave tells him now, there's no way around it. Which would you rather? Can we back up a minute? I mean, I get the celebrating, but shouldn't Sal have been here if we were celebrating that? He entrusted you to us, or mostly Tyson anyway. Had to go help out his best friend with something. Yeah, Dean got himself stuck again. Plus, apparently you two already celebrated a few nights back. No idea how the fuck you managed to keep that a secret from us for a couple days. Tyson! Sorry. Tyson stood up, pushed in his chair, and cleared his throat. You really went fucking overboard, didn't you? I guess you're not at the table now. Ty ruffled the fur atop my head and I grumbled. Still feeling sick, but I wasn't feeling sick as I probably should have been. I just knew that I was. Hey, Dad? Yes, Dave? Then they were gone and I was falling again. I must have been sleeping. Dad was gone, but more importantly, I was still at the mansion, wasn't I? As I opened my eyes, my head hurt something fierce, but like last time, I didn't seem to be in control of my own body. Oh, what happened? I'll take credit for that. You made me pass out again? Why? I sounded angry, although from what I could see around me in the brief time the Dave I was living in, nothing seemed wrong. For fun. What kind of person even does that? Well, I'm hardly a person, am I? Ugh. On a more serious note, 2 questions for you. What now? First, have you decided what you're going to do about Jack? Not really. And there isn't many options for us, is there? Oh, thank you, Amethyst. True, but it's worth asking. What about the second thing? It's about what you saw in the little dream I gave you. You mean memory? Semantics! There isn't much to say, just more of the same sort of stuff, really. Thanatos didn't seem all that thrilled about it and shook his head. Details, Dave! Okay, well, it's odd, right? Basically what happened yesterday, except... I'm gonna wait for this ad. Except... There was no reply, and as much as I wanted to step in and ask questions myself, I wasn't the one in control. Is that why you asked Oswin that favor? To stop Benson from firing his gun? Maybe, but that's interesting. Interesting how? Not as many variations between where we are now and what you saw. For example... I watched as Thanatos looked me directly in the eye. Something in how he did it made my skin crawl, as if he could sense that I was there watching through this other Dave's eyes. Imagine that this was the dream. Imagine that you're now watching these events as a memory instead. That's okay, so what? Imagine what you could do with that information if you could look back on the previous loop and change how things could go. Nothing that bad happened, though. And if it did? If you'd seen the trap I set for Tyson before you needed to use the vault? As in, use the vault without a password. In a manner of speaking, sure I didn't knock you out this time, but... He shrugged again. How about a test? What sort of test? I ask you a question, you give me the answer. And if I get it right? Then we'll know you've been through all this before, and I'll treat you to something nice. If he winked, I would have known he was talking to me. If he'd given any indication he knew I was there. I'd missed it, though. Maybe this was just how he was, but it felt to me I was piloting nod slowly. Okay, what's the question? Question is this. Where's the Leo medal? The what? We hadn't found the Leo medal yet. Seemed as though the other Dave had no clue where it was either. No, don't know. But we haven't found that one yet. How else would I know? Because I'm about to tell you in order to give you a freebie. I don't know if I trust a freebie from you. Take it or leave it. If you get it right, then you'll get your treat. If not, at least you'll know where the medal is. Alright, where is it? Listen close, Dave. Leo is hidden in the place Oswin does his best work. His voice was fading fast. Given the answer before what memory this was had finished fading. But what was I meant to do with this information? There was a medal where Oswin does his best work, well then there were only a few places that could be. We're going to leave off here tonight. Just cracked my neck. Anyways, stay safe, have a good night. Be sure to kiss the homies good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.